Hey, Michelle Schaefer here, and today I have an interview with a very special guest that I can't wait to share with you. She has a passion for making things beautiful, and that's really what started this all. Sandy's creative abilities were nurtured while growing up in her childhood home in Southern California. From moving furniture, organizing things, hanging pictures, and creating different looks was really a fun hobby. She explored every opportunity to experiment with paint, make crafts, and create unique items using found objects from around her home. And Sandy changed her life course while in college. She was earning a degree in business administration from California State University in Fullerton, had a career in corporate sales that was launched soon after she graduated, and interior design aspirations got put on hold. But never forgetting her passion and enthusiasm for the field of design, Sandy decided to part ways with that corporate world after a career of 20 years. In 2004, she launched her interior design business, Restyle Interiors. Sandy, welcome.
Hi, Michelle. Good to be here.
Well, I'm excited to chat with you and find out more about Restyle Interiors and what you've created here. That had to be a big leap moving from 20 years in corporate.
Yes, it was. I was ready. I was ready for a big change. I had been thinking about it for a long time, but like most people, wasn't sure how I was going to pull it off. So I took some brush up courses in some design to make sure that I was current on what was going on. And yeah, and then I took the big leap in 2004.
Wow. So when did you get the idea to start your design business?
I would say 2 to 3 years before that.
Okay.
It was all I thought about, all I taught. My friends were getting bored from me hearing me talk about these great ideas I had about starting a design business. And then I think I fell into the well, a lot of people fall into that trap of, well, your friends are saying, how are you going to do it? How are you going to make it happen? There's so many hurdles. But so I think it took me 3 years to really get up the courage. But yes, I finally made the break and never looked back.
That's awesome. So what kind of interior design work do you actually do?
Well, when I first started my business, it was when one day room makeovers were a huge trend.
Uh-huh.
And not only were they popular, but it was a fantastic way to get out there, get a lot of clients
Mhm.
with an entry level product or
Mhm.
service, I should say, so that it was open to the masses. And with HGTV and all these different programs coming on online, the DIY network, so a lot of people knew about this thing where you could actually make over your living room in one day.
Wow.
So I was certified in that particular service, and I really went out there, hit the road running, and I did many a room makeover for the first I would say 4 years of my business.
Wow.
It was so rewarding too, because you go in the morning, your clients leave
Yeah.
for the day, they come back in the afternoon, and wow. So you have tears of joy, and then yeah, it was just a very rewarding uh, type of service to provide, and that's what
Mhm.
kind of got me started. And then from there, I started building on my
Mhm.
business, because I was getting more in tune with some of
Mhm.
the other um, design offerings.
Gotcha. That had to be really cool for clients to have that experience of deep breath, let me walk out, leave all of this in Sandy's hands, and then coming back and seeing the transformation. I've seen some of the before and afters on your website, and it's amazing what you can do very quickly in a space.
Yes, and thank you for mentioning that, because to be honest with you, some people have this intrepidation about, you mean you're going to just move stuff around and, you know, but it's
Yeah.
amazing that they don't even realize, most people, and this is not, I'm not trying to um, make anyone feel bad. Most people, they don't realize how many beautiful things they have in their home because they see their stuff every single day. But I don't. So when I shop their home and I look at these things and I'm like, oh my gosh, they have so much to work with. So that's why people are usually so amazed at the end of a room makeover, because they're like looking at things and going, I didn't even know I had that.
I can imagine. So I know we definitely got to come back to that and talk a little bit more about how you shop your own home and do some redecorating. That's really cool. So how long did it take for you to go from just doing single room makeovers into kind of whole houses? Because I've seen your website and you do like full scale renovation as well. There's like some major transformations.
Yes, yes. And it did take, I would say, for the first 4 to 5 years, I mainly did room makeovers,
Mhm.
design consultations, helping people with problems that they had in their home, accessorizing, hanging artwork, a lot of the detail design work that
Mhm.
most homeowners or the average individual, they probably don't have that level of knowledge
Yeah.
to understand proportion, scale, balance, traffic flow. So I would say 4 to 5 years of kind of getting my feet wet in the business. And then I had known a contractor for years.
Mhm.
We were actually friends. We lived in the same townhome complex for many, many years.
Mhm.
And then I reached out to him because he's a general contractor, and I
Oh.
started having clients asking me for, hey, I want to renovate my bathroom. I want to redo my kitchen. And I knew that
Hmm.
I had the technical ability
Right.
to do the design work, but I wanted to make sure that I had the contracting background, someone in that business, shall I say, that could deliver.
Right. I could see where that would be helpful to know
Yeah,
you
that's
have
kind
the
of
right
important.
connections.
Yeah, it was a big step forward, and I'm so glad I did that, because working with the contractor gave me the ability to step into some amazingly
Mhm.
fun and transforming projects. So yeah, I started doing a lot of bathroom renovations, which
Huh.
to this day I love designing bathrooms. I don't know what it is about tile, but don't get me started on decorative tile for your bathroom. And then kitchens, and then the next thing I knew, I was doing a whole home renovation.
Wow. Yeah, that's got to be fantastic on the client side to have somebody come in who understands, because I think we've all walked into those kitchens or those bathrooms before that we're like, why? Why is this over here? Didn't even realize, but this can absolutely be in the wrong place. I can't reach this. I don't understand this kitchen layout. Having somebody come in and go, okay, let's look at this in a way that's going to be functional as well as beautiful, makes a huge difference for something like that.
You know, you really did hit that on the head. Most people don't realize how dysfunctional their kitchen is until they see the pullouts and all of the cool accessories that you can add into your kitchen, and just placing the things in the right area and making
Yeah.
sure you have enough room between your counters and your appliances. You know, there's a lot
Yeah.
of small details that go into kitchen design that the average person wouldn't even know to think about.
Absolutely. That's not the kind of class we tend to take in school. So it's one of those things that you kind of know it when you feel it, when you see it, but otherwise you would have no idea some of the details. So that brings me to an interesting question that I'm sure a lot of people have. If I'm thinking about either redecorating a space or having someone come in and help me renovate and redesign, what do I look for when I'm going through designer profiles? And I know there's some sites that you're listed on. What should somebody look for to see, is this designer going to be a good fit? Like, how do you know who makes a good client for you, and what can a client look for when they're hiring a decorator?
Very good question. The first thing I would say is look at the profile, the
Mhm.
designer's profile, and if they don't have a good profile and a background. Look for testimonials. Look to see, who else has worked with that client, with that designer, excuse me, and look to see, what kind of background they have. It's not necessary to have somebody that has every single curriculum, ASID, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Unless that's important to you. But what you do want to make sure is that they're experienced in the type of design that the kind of project that you are working on. So, and then on top of that, it's great to actually kind of interview your designer.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see, by talking to them, do you feel comfortable with this person?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you can work with this person? Does this person understand where you're coming from? And we actually do the same thing when we're talking to you, because we want to make sure that we feel that we understand you, because a lot of when you talk about designing, a lot of it is so, I don't want to say esoteric, but it's not like I can just verbally tell you everything
Mm-hmm.
about how I feel, how I'm interpreting your design wishes.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have this, I feel like I have a pretty special talent in that I can be in tune with my clients' ideas. And that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of why I say I bring your design ideas to life,
Yeah.
because that's what I do. I try to get into your head a little bit, not personally, but from a design perspective. And
Right.
then because most people can't really say what they want, they know what they don't want.
Yeah.
And so my job is to be able to feel comfortable that I can understand where you're coming
Mm-hmm.
from and what you want. And then the same thing goes with the client. They need to feel comfortable with me.
I love that. I think that's such an important piece of advice for people looking to hire, because if you don't know how to communicate with the person or feel comfortable communicating, it's like when you go in for a haircut and it comes out totally different than what you want. You don't want that with your home. So a bad haircut grows back out. A home redesign, you want somebody that really does connect with you in that way. One thing you mentioned that I wanted to talk about for a minute was unique decor styles. That's something that I think a lot of people who aren't in the design field, we don't even know the labels. We know we like certain looks and styles. And I know that you've actually written a book to help people figure out what is your design style. So you can talk about that for a minute with us.
Sure, sure. I actually did, after years and years in the business. It was such a common thread. Most people do not understand the words to use to describe what type of design style they like. And I know that they know what they like. They're just not really able to put it into a vernacular that
Mm-hmm.
designers talk about.
Right.
Mid-century modern, contemporary, rustic modern, bohemian, boho.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a book, and it's actually an ebook, or you can get it in print version. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you can see it on the screen, but discover
Yeah.
your unique decor style, how to decorate with confidence. And that's exactly what I did, so that I can
Love it.
reach out to those folks out there that
Yeah.
feel like they want to do something, but they're not sure how to start, and they
Yeah.
don't know how to describe their design style. And once you know what style you are and what you
Mm-hmm.
like, everything becomes so much easier. Selecting your
Yeah.
furniture becomes easier. Knowing the color scheme that you want, everything falls into place.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when I read through that and identified, this is the label for what I actually like. I went to Amazon, typed it in, and I was like, oh, I like everything that's coming up now. So it was really eye-opening for me to realize it could be that easy to find things that I would like. Of course, then there's bridging the gap between, how do I take those and put those into a cohesive design and decor for a room? But it's super helpful to understand what is the style that you actually like and know what words to use to communicate. So that's a fantastic solution that you've got.
Thank you.
So you talked about a lot of different styles there. who were you influenced by when you first started out with design?
Well, I had two designers that I used to watch obsessively.
Okay.
They're still in the business, and I do respect their work a lot. Candace Olson is one of them. She used to have a show, a regular show on
Mhm.
HGTV, and I just really, I was amazed by the fact that she could come up with these stunning, clean, contemporary, yet comfortable and warm
Mhm.
designs, week after week. So yes, Candace Olson, and then Sarah Richardson is
Mhm.
another designer that I really, uh, I just love her work. She's brings in nature. She's very much in tune with her surroundings.
Hmm.
She's up in Canada, and everything,
Okay.
it's just beautiful. Every time you see the interiors, you look out the window and you're like, oh my God,
Um,
what a beautiful view here. So between the two of them,
mhm.
Candace Olson's more of that real polished contemporary modern, and then with Sarah Richardson and her little slightly more relaxed but yet
Mhm.
beautiful designs that really bring in nature. I think that's what I'm in tune with.
Very cool. That's got to be interesting to watch other designers and kind of take some inspiration from what you see that you like or maybe doesn't fit as well. Which brings me to another question. Do interior designers really watch HGTV?
Well, that's so funny. Yes, but
Okay.
I think we're a little bit more selective maybe than we don't probably gravitate to the same types of shows that a lot
Mhm.
of people, everybody loves Flip or Flop, and because they're out there buying these ugly
Right.
homes, and they're fantasize. So people tend to fantasize about, oh, I could do that too,
Uh,
which, be careful, it's not as easy as it looks on TV. But
Everything looks easier on TV.
but yes, I would say designers
Okay.
do. We do have our favorite shows, and I gave you a couple of mine.
Very cool. All right. So we talked a little bit about what design services you offer, but let's go into that a little bit more. So, when you're working with clients, how do you interact with a client during a project? Like, what's the process for redesigning a space? Is it like you see on TV, or is it different in real life?
There's a lot more that goes on in the background. Um, and before we start so once we've agreed to work with each other, and
Mhm.
we have an agreement, we and I know what the project is. So let's say, for example, it's going to be a kitchen remodel. There
Mhm.
is a lot of planning that goes into place. All of the fixtures, all of the cabinetry, everything is pre-selected. uh,
Mhm.
there are boards that are presented to make sure that the client understands, okay, this is the color of the cabinetry, this is what the backsplash.
Mhm.
So everything is actually pre-planned, and
Mhm.
you have almost all of your materials in place before you even start making a mess, and tearing out your
Makes
sink.
sense. Okay. All right. So what's the process like? It sounds like you kind of start with the concept, the design ideas, and get on the same page about those, and then you go into the actual, all right, we turn it into reality here piece.
Yes. The biggest piece of the creative part of a project is nailing down the color scheme and the material choices. And believe me, sometimes it goes really fast because the
Uh-huh.
client already had an idea in their head about color. And then I basically take their ideas, and I actually bring the reality. I show them the samples. Okay, now this is what you were describing to me, and I think this is it. And 9 times out of 10, we're right on the money. But that's why we do that. We show,
Mhm.
I bring everything to the client first, because you don't want to have any surprises, because there's always a surprise in a construction zone.
Oh yeah.
but you want to minimize them. So that's why we pre-select all the materials. I show them all how everything is going to combine together, how all the materials and the colors and the wall color and the floors and everything works together. We get that first, and then we move forward with the actual, what I call the
Awesome.
dirty work, the construction demolition.
The magical miracle part of it.
Yes.
So, how does the process work if somebody comes to you and they're virtual because they're, a different state, different country? Do you work with clients? Is that possible to work with a designer virtually, or do they need to be in person?
It actually is these
Mhm.
days. Thank goodness for technology. And I do offer a virtual design consultation. This is for
Okay.
people who aren't in my area, but
Hmm.
that they have a project at their house and they want some professional guidance so that they can do it once and do it the
Gotcha.
right way.
Okay.
So yes, I do work with clients by virtue of um, they send me photos.
Okay.
We can get on a conference call together. They send me measurements. So I can guide them virtually
Hmm.
to creating, and usually this would be the type of project that, say it's you're redoing your living room or your
Hmm.
family room, or you want to change the look of your dining room and you need suggestions on paint colors and new flooring, or how big should my dining table be. I can tell you how large your dining table should be based on how big your space is. How far down should my
Okay.
chandelier hang from the ceiling? How far off of the dining table should it be? There's a lot of little details that a virtual design consultation can address. And they're questions that you don't even realize you have that question until you're sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, now I have this chandelier. How am I supposed to hang it?"
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm getting is there's a lot of little details that would be super helpful to get expert advice on those pieces.
Yes.
Okay, so that's very cool that you can do that virtually and have that interaction. And I guess that would make the process a lot easier if I'm doing some of these things myself to have somebody on call that I could go, okay, what do I get size
I'm
wise?
stuck
Where do
here.
I need to hang? Yeah, yes, got it. Cool. All right, so what's your actual favorite part of the design process or your favorite project? Which pieces are the most fun for you?
Well, of course, the creative part is a
Mhm.
blast. Just shopping for all these cool tiles and um, different um, items that I'm going to bring into a design. But I have to tell you, by far, my favorite part of the project is when we're all done and the
Mhm.
client gets to see the finished project for the first time. It's just so rewarding, and it never gets old. Every single time it's a fun experience watching their
Mhm.
eyes and watching their expressions, and the it makes you feel wonderful inside. And I think that's why I just love this business and I love what I do, because it's so rewarding.
I can imagine watching that expression where you see somebody literally falling back in love with their own space because of the way you've redecorated it has to be amazing.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so let's say I wanted to redesign a particular room or redecorate my living room. What's the best place to start with that process? What advice would you give somebody who's looking at their space going, this isn't functional, or I don't like the way it looks, but I have no idea where to begin to fix it?
If you're going to start a project and you want to do it on your own, I actually created a do-it-yourself, a DIY room makeover kit. This is something that, if you purchase this kit, it takes you step by step from dismantling the room, which is basically the first thing that you need to do.
Okay.
Sometimes we get stuck in our we can't see the forest through the trees because
Mhm.
we're looking at that room the way it has looked for the last X amount of years.
Okay.
So if you remove most of the items from your space, and now you're kind of looking at this almost empty. In most cases, there's a few things you can't take out of your room. But when you take away items, all of a sudden now you can see it through a different lens, through,
Yeah.
through a kind of a new way of looking at your space. And that's why
Yeah.
I developed the DIY kit, because once you do that, once you dismantle the room, I give you a step-by-step process that if you follow these rules and these
Mhm.
steps, the procedure is it's relayering, bringing things back in, but in a more concise way, so that you're looking at traffic flow. You're looking at, okay, what is the focal point of my room? Where really should I be putting my
Mm.
furniture versus where I had it before? How are people getting into this space? How are they moving from point A to point B? Where's the TV set? Do I want people having to walk in front of the TV every time they need to? So I address all of
Okay.
those concerns, and I make it very, very easy if you wanted to redo
Mhm.
your own space and you're on a budget. This is literally using everything that you already own. So you're
Huh.
not having to bring in anything new. You shop your own home, you find things from other rooms. I actually have videos that I'll be presenting fairly soon on exactly that process. So you can see me go through that process if you're a little unsure of what I'm describing here.
Oh, that's awesome. So, kind of the concept is looking at it from a couple of different angles, it sounds like. So, not just how do we create a room where people aren't constantly stubbing their toes, banging their knees into things, and walking in front of the TV, but also looking at doing that with the things that you've already got, what you already have access to in your home. So, this is something you can even do if you're on a budget, just kind of as a fun weekend project to really create a space you love.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's something I even do in my own home because I can't help myself. Uh, every
I
once in a
can
while,
imagine there's a lot of redecorating going on there.
well, that chair's been in that corner for so long, what else can we do with it? Or maybe switch that chair with another chair.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing the different things that you can do when you think that nothing's nailed down. I mean, unless it's a built-in, those are nailed down. But, if it's not a fireplace and it's not a built-in bookcase or
Mhm.
something, you could probably move it. And there's a real, there are actual design techniques that
Huh.
allow you to change the furniture arrangement in the room so that it's balanced, it's proportionate,
Mhm.
it's in scale. Those are the things that you don't need to know those names. You just need to understand how to make it happen.
Yeah.
So that's where the
Mhm.
lessons from this DIY kit, my book, different, just in a virtual consultation, I can explain things that people just, they don't know why it doesn't look right. And then when they
Right.
show me a picture of it, I'll
Yeah.
say, well, look at the size of that piece of artwork, and then look at
Mm.
what, and then, oh yeah, I get it. It's too small. It's too big. It's too, you know,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of times there's somebody we know something feels off, we just aren't sure what, and if you don't know what questions to ask, it can be really hard. So having a checklist like that gives you, here's the questions to ask yourself, here's the things to think about. I love that because it empowers somebody who isn't necessarily a designer to go through and think about the right things so they come out with a really beautiful balanced space.
yes,
Such a
I
great
couldn't have said it better.
idea. I love that. And the idea of shopping in your own home, I think you're right. We do forget, and I'm sure people listening and watching are thinking, yeah, I do have that piece of art or that particular item that maybe is in a different room, or maybe it's in a closet or an attic, it's gathering dust, that you can bring some of those things back out into your space that you really love, but for one reason or another, they're not out there right now. So the idea of being able to go through your home and find those pieces and use them in a fresh way to kind of bring your space back to life is fantastic.
Yes, yes, it is. And it's a fabulous way to give your it actually helps you emotionally too. You
Oh,
walk in that space and you're like, wow, I can't believe I live here.
hmm. I like that. That's true. You deserve to love the space that you live in. And if
Yes,
that's something that, you're listening to this and you're thinking, I don't really love my space right now, I encourage you to reach out and connect to Sandy. You can find her at restyleinteriors.net, and you can find the DIY kit she mentioned as well as her book there. Take a look at it, because if you're feeling that way, that you're looking around at your space and thinking, yeah, I could love this space a little more, or yeah, we do have everybody walking in front of the TV or stubbing their toes, or your kitchen doesn't feel as functional as you know it could be. Grab a copy of that and give yourself a few hours this weekend to go through and redecorate your space so that you fall back in love with it. And send Sandy your before and after pictures as you do that. I'm sure she'd love to take a look at them. So restyleinteriors.net, again, is where you can find out more about Sandy if you're looking to maybe have somebody work with you on a design, whether you're in Southern California or whether you're somewhere else in the world. You can reach out and get her expertise and help on your project so that you do have that space that really brings your dreams back to life. Sandy, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us.
thank you very much, Michelle. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's cool to talk with someone about a topic like this and see there really is not just so much to it, because I know you spent a lot of time in the industry studying these things, learning about it, getting certified, but there's also ways that you can take those concepts and teach it to others so that we can learn to create those spaces around us.
Absolutely. I hope at least one person just gets excited about taking their living room apart and putting it back together. I think that would be, they would love it. They would love it.
It's a very empowering thing to realize that you can do that with your space. Remember, it's your space. You're not stuck with it the way it is right now. You can absolutely turn it into the home and the space of your dreams.
Yes.
All right. So again, thank you for tuning in and listening in on our conversation today. Whether you've found this on YouTube or Sandy's site or somewhere else, leave a comment. Let her know which parts got you excited about your space and what you can do with it. And you'll find links below this video or nearby it to all of the different things we talked about today to help you take that next step and really create in the space that you want to have around you. And Restyle Interiors is a full service design firm. So if you're looking for somebody, reach out to Sandy. They offer a unique blend of contemporary and modern style that really has a warmth and casual elegance to it. You can see that through the pictures on Sandy's site. Go take a look at her before and afters. It'll inspire you with some ideas of what's actually possible for your space. Sandy, you've continued over the years to win multiple Best of awards for customer service on, let's see, the site is called houzz.com. People can check that out, HOUZZ.com. You're a published author. Your design work has been featured all over the place, including Orange Coast Magazine. But really, the part that I know from speaking with you is the most important and the most rewarding to you isn't the awards. It's not being published in the magazines. It's watching your clients and the happiness that you see when they fall back in love with their spaces. You've got testimonials all over your site that speak to that. So everybody take a look at and connect with Sandy on Instagram. She's on YouTube, on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. She's got a really cool series called Fast Fix Friday that you won't want to miss. And pop over and see her design services on her site at restyleinteriors.net. Thank you again, Sandy, for sharing with us today.
Thank you very much, Michelle.